you are a freelancer or independent contractor, you need to know how to make an invoice. This is the beginning stages of starting your own business, starting your own personal brand. You need to know the absolute basics, and then making an invoice is one of them. You need to have that professional image, especially if you want to grow your business. As you guys can see, we're on the Google homepage. You're gonna go to Sheets. We are now on the Sheets page. You see blank, invoice, weekly timesheet, expenses. I'm even gonna open this. You can see template gallery. Like, look at all these free templates that just by having a Gmail account, they give to you. I'm telling you, you guys have all of these resources at your fingertips. But I get it, like when you're starting off, it can be overwhelming. So again, that's why I'm here. This is literally what I did. You go to Invoice, click it. So we open the invoice template and you can see it damn near gives you pretty much everything that you might need. And again, guys, this is just a template. The whole point of this here is to apply yourself. That you're gonna use this template as a foundation and you're gonna customize it and make your own. I'm gonna show you guys what mine looks like, but this is literally what I did. I went to Google Sheets and I made my own template, and then I saved it as a blank so that every time I go back, I can just fill in the spaces depending on the brand, the client, whatever the project might be. You can see that like you can make these spaces larger, smaller, so that it can fit to whatever you might need. You can make this bold, you can change the color. I can change the font to it if I wanted to. Like, you guys get what I'm saying. You can make it customizable to how you like it. Now, this is not gonna be a Google Sheets review. I'm not gonna show you how to do everything within Google Sheets. However, I am gonna show you my template, which is right here. Take a, pause the video, take a screenshot. It's very simple. You guys will see it's very clean. It's color coordinated. It helps me a lot. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on it, especially when I was first starting off and I was like sending it to clients. They'd be like, wow, well, like that's a clean invoice. Like, thanks, I appreciate it, because I was fucking stressing making one. So like I said, make it customizable. As you guys can see, I have my business logo right here, JGA. That's my business, that's my brand. If you want to add images, literally just go to insert, go to image, and then you can do all that. You just pick the file, drop it on. So now we're actually gonna go over each section of this template and how I use it. With this, less is more. You want it to be clear. You don't want the client to get confused and be like, what the fuck am I looking at? Your business, if you have the LLC, if you don't have the LLC yet and you're just like a sole proprietor or independent contractor, put your name. If you do have an LLC and you have like a studio, let's say you're a photographer and you have an actual like photo studio, you would put the address of that studio. Second, you have your phone number. Just again, personal information. If they need to call you, text you, it's just professional. And then you're gonna add your email. Obviously, they probably already have your email and your phone number and all this, but just in case like the accounting department sees it and they don't know who you are because maybe they weren't the one in contact with you, they know where this is coming from, and if they need to reach out to you directly, that's why it's there, okay? So think about that. It might not be the person you're actually emailing or talking to, it might be like a separate accounting department. So that's why you want all your information there, even if it might be obvious. Then we have right here, invoice, can't miss it. Big bold letters, you know what the fuck you're getting. Now submit it on, as you guys can see, I color coordinated it to be red. Why? Because, okay, July's coming up. When I actually do it, I do it like this. I would just do like 07, 01, 25, right? Like that's how I would send it out personally. So again, submit it on July 1st, 25. You fill that out, cool. Now, who is the invoice for? You have the client's name and the client's email. Again, just who you've been in contact with. Again, if this gets sent to the accounting department and they're like, who's been in contact with this person? They know who it was sent to, right? The client name and the client email. Now, who is this payable to? You wanna get paid, right? So this is where you wanna put, again, your business or your name. If you get checks, this is how they're gonna write it out. And then you can also see here, I have Zelle info. Why? Because Zelle is a very common way to get paid. So your Zelle info is typically your phone number or your email, but I feel like most of you guys know that. Here, your invoice number. Okay, so again, this is very important. So like, let's say I'm working with a client, I don't know. I just did something for Miami Swim Week. So you could say like Miami Swim Week 001, because this is the first time you did something for Miami Swim Week, right? This is how I stay structured. This is how I stay organized. I have a folder for each client, and then I go through so I know like, okay, this is, like, let's say down the line, I've done 13 projects with Miami Swim Week. MSW 013, I've done 13. You know what I mean? So like, it's easier for me to track that way. Again, that is where you would fill that out. That's why I have client, name, and then 001, the amount of times that you've actually worked with that client, 002, 003, whatever. Now, the project name is gonna be exactly what that project was. And now same thing, when you guys do a project, you're gonna make it relatable to whatever project you're actually working on. So for example, I did something with LE Miami here in Miami recently. So I would title it LE Miami 2025, because I also did one with him in 2024. Now going back to everything being color coordinated, Payment due. This is gonna be very important for your invoices. So as you guys can see, I have a net 15 or 30. Net 15 and net 30 is basically just like the standardized, like the amount of days that it takes you to get paid, right? Everyone, I feel like for the most part, is used to getting paid weekly or bi-weekly. When you're a freelancer, independent contractor, you're probably gonna get like a net 30 or a net 15, which means you get paid in 15 days or you get paid in 30 days. For example, if I had a net 30, I would put 07, 31, 25. Why? Because that's 30 days from when I submitted the invoice. Or if I had a net 15, then I would put the 15 days that it would take from that day it was submitted on. So before we fill in like this dates, hours, rate, and total price area, we're gonna scroll down a little bit more. And I promise you, when you like export it as a PDF, it's all one sheet. You don't have to scroll. But now on top of where it's payable to in your Zelle, at the bottom, you guys can see right here, you have your wire transfer, which is your routing number and your accounting number. I feel like how most of you guys are used to getting paid, like if you work with a company, you have to send them your routing number and your accounting number, and then that's how you get put into the payroll system. If you work with a modeling agency, that's also how you get paid. But again, when you're a freelancer and you're going out and getting these clients directly and you need to get paid directly, they might pay via Zelle, via check, wire transfer. So again, it's just good to have all of your information there. I do feel like, again, in today's day and age, a lot of people use Zelle, but the bigger companies that I work with do wire transfers. So I like to have everything just there. Again, very easy to follow along with. At the very bottom, you guys can see, I have terms and conditions. This is gonna fluctuate depending on what the project might be. So let's go over what I have. All payments are due as per the invoice terms with a 2% weekly late fee applied after the due date. Now again, this can fluctuate. Most late fees are between like 2% and 5%. I have it weekly because when I'm paying other people and I'm paying staff, I'm basically fronting the money if I'm not getting paid. Like I'm taking money out of my own account to pay my staff before I even get paid. So if the client is late on paying me, they can be penalized. Whether you actually enforce this or not and take legal action, that's up to you. Some people I know do a monthly late fee. Again, it might be like 5% instead of the 2%. I like to apply the weekly because it puts some fire on the ass to pay me. Let's say you're a trade worker, right? And you might take a deposit like 30%, 30%, 30%, 10%. You should have that in your terms and conditions. Again, this is what I use for freelancing, media, hospitality service. Written confirmation is required to acknowledge the client has reviewed and accepted the invoice and terms and conditions. This is very important. When you send this, make sure that they confirm that they read and received the invoice and reviewed the terms and conditions. That way they can't circle back and say, oh, we didn't see this. You confirmed it, you received it, it's in writing, gotcha. Fortunately enough, I've never needed to experience that, but if you work with people, one-on-one, smaller businesses, you never know. Better to be safe. So now to go over the date and hours, if we're submitting this on July 1st, like let's say you did something on the 30th of June, 2025, you'd put date and hours. Maybe it was just like a flat day rate, so you don't really need to put your hours because then it doesn't matter. So like let's say it was $1,000 for the day, right? So then now your total price is $1,000. And then what do? You make it $1,000, right? So like if you had a flat day rate for this job, this is how you would go about it. And if you had hours, you'd say the hours were like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., like an 8-hour day, right? Boom. So you have that, you have 8 hours. So you could say, let's just say the rate was 100 an hour. So you would put 100 HR, 100 an hour. So then if you did it for 8 hours, you technically, the invoice would be $800 for the day. Again, I'm just doing this for like simple math and numbers like that. Again, I hope your invoice is in 5, 6, 7 figures, you feel me? But again, to get to those numbers, you need to have an invoice. So like when you start getting invoices around like the 5-figure range, I promise you're definitely gonna need an invoice. A few thousand here and there, you probably just catch a Zelle. If you get in 5 figures, 10,000 and up, you're definitely gonna need an invoice if that's what the job is gonna require. Here is what it might look like, especially if you're a beginner. Like if you're a beginner and this is what you're getting, this is what it looked like for me, a few $100s for the day, and then that will then expand onto more and more and more. When you actually wanna share it to your computer, save it to your computer, you're gonna go to File, Download, and you're gonna go to PDF. As you can see here, the PDF is all one sheet. Not like how it is on sheets where you need to scroll up and down. You can see all of this in one sheet. So you can literally go to, export, it'll save to your folder, show in Finder, downloads, boom, easy. So this is how it would pop up when you send it via email. This is the PDF file that they will get. So as you guys can see, it's all one page, looks clean, very, very professional, submitted on, due date, and the total. You can't make it any fucking easier for them, I swear to God. That's all an invoice is. Don't overcomplicate it, but at the end of the day, it's how you get motherfucking paid. I do want to add that some clients might want to pay with a credit card. You can just use PayPal. You can and you can send them like a pay by link. This is how you make an invoice, and like, I don't want to say this in like a corny way, but like take pride in the process. Like enjoy the fact that you're creating an invoice for yourself, like for your own business, for your own services. You know what I mean? Like this is literally the start of it. And I cannot stress enough that when people tell me like, oh, like I want to start my business, like I want to start doing this, I want to start doing that. I'm like, okay, do you have an invoice? Do you have like offer templates like ready to go? Like if you met a client, I've talked about this previously in a different video, but like, do you have the foundation for your business if you want to start a business? Yes or no? Most people, the answer is no, right? But again, everyone starts somewhere. I feel it. This was me. At the end of the day, you got to put in the work yourself and no one's going to do it for you. But hopefully this video helps you get started. Shout out to everyone who reaches out to me on Instagram and follows me there. Like you guys know, I get back to you guys as soon as possible. I'm sorry, it gets kind of lost in the request sometimes. It's crazy to think that like people reach out to me because they see the videos I make on YouTube and they come to me for like business or life advice on Instagram. Like it's just like a full circle moment, and it makes me realize that like, even on some days where like I might not want to make a video, like it's always worth it in the end. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and y'all know the deal. Until next time, I'll catch y'all later.